Hey, peace world. Wood here. Haven't been talking about football in a long time. Shout out to my man Corey in DC in case he tunes into this by chance. Um, when your team sucks so bad that you don't even get much national when you don't even get much national attention. So nobody of importance really even deals with the struggles of the team when you're in full rebuild mode. And I'm sitting around on Instagram and I'm looking at and it's not a lot of people. It's not a ton of people. But the insistence by a few that Eric Bienemy be given a job, and then to throw that in with the NFL being racist and whatnot. Okay, I hear you, but the brother had the opportunity to be a front runner for the job, and he failed. I'm gonna give you two reasons, but it's like six or seven. But my two reasons are it's two ways to look at it. Either the two games against the New York Giants, where they scored 7 in the first meeting, and then 19, I believe, in the second, when the Giants were going nowhere. Going nowhere. I believe they scored the 7 the first meeting. I think that was in Washington. So at a moment when the Giants were the cellar dwellers of the division and completely dead in the water, we go out there and lay an egg to them. And it's not like the Giants put up 30 points in the first meeting. As an offensive coordinator, you have to put enough points on the board to get that victory. I believe we still were in the hunt at that particular time. So that's it. You lost the 2 games to the Giants, who were at that point the bums of the division, with a backup in the DeVito cat. Tyrod might have played the first one. And I get it. I know the defense. I know. The other way of looking at it is you pair the Giants' L's, the losses to the Giants, with the ridiculous showings against the Cowboys. Period. I'm sitting here on Christmas Day trying to watch the game, which we didn't show up for, and we have the Cowboys on the field eating turkey legs and tapping turkey legs together like they toasting each other and celebrating on the field and laughing. And we didn't do a whole lot that day. I get it was the defense. Or, they on the field too much because the defense I can't even separate it. It just comes down to them couple of things. Now we can throw in so let's look at us taking a strong look and seeming to be very big on Ben Johnson. Hey, y'all just want the white guy. It's just getting the white guy. What has he done? What has he done? The fact that his team is in the NFC, the fact that the offensive unit that he leads, that he directs and guides, under a defensive head coach in Campbell. But the fact that they're in the NFC championship game this year speaks for itself. It is what it is. But this was the seeds for him being fully recognized and being coveted the way that he is right now goes back to the season before when they went 9-8. And he guided the offense to winning 6 or 7 of the last 8 or 9 games. And being an obvious part of why the team, a perennial loser, turned it around. And then when they really weren't playing for a whole lot at the end of the 2022 to 2023 season, they went into Green Bay, a nemesis. They went into Green Bay, took care of business, and brought the end of Aaron Rodgers in the NFC North to an end by getting that victory. So we can throw around the NFL's issue with hiring minority coaches and candidates and the Rooney Rule and all. We can bring all of that in, but sometimes it's just a matter of it's timing. And he just doesn't have the better optics right now. Eric Bienemy just doesn't have the better optics right now than Ben Johnson. And I'm sorry if your optics are just skin color. I'm sorry if that's the only optics that you recognize. Bienemy, the fact, the main thing is this: new ownership, new front office, new head of the front office, and new GM Andrew Peters. After a 4-13 season, if you weren't indisputably one of the positive headlines in a terrible situation, indisputably, if we just couldn't look at your area of the ship and say that you delivered, it was exceptional, you were a part of the solution, maybe you were working, maybe you slept in the office the entire year. I don't know, because I'm not behind the scenes. But the tape that we have, the stats that we have, number 26th, I believe, in offense, didn't get anything done with a young running back in B. Robinson. Sat here, people want, well, he didn't pick the O-line and he didn't have nothing to do with the O-line. I don't care. When you're an offensive coordinator, innovation is the expectation. Innovation. Problem solver, troubleshooter, whatever. You got to get it done. The NFL is the coldest of cold worlds. Nobody cares. So just with the new regime, with new ownership, new GM coming in, they want to sell something new to the public for next year. And if you just head and shoulders don't look, you just part of the stench of what was there. I'm sorry. You can't, he came in last year. He knew coming there, he knew what the roster looked like by the time he reported. He knew what the quarterback situation looked like. Did he go in there in week 10, week 9 and say with Rivera, hey, I need Brissett to start? Did he say that? What was the one-on-one working and coaching and mentoring and guidance and tutelage with Hal to get the connection between him and Terry McLaurin better? McLaurin getting 1,000 yards, got to be left in the game in week 20 or whatever, in the final game of the season, just to eclipse 1,000 yards? The man being sacked at an all-time rate. Do you run the ball more? I mean, what was the things that he tried to do or got done? And I'll just close with this. It's not that after Sam Howell was leading the league in passing going into the final 6 weeks or 5, whatever it was. It's not that he had to maintain that or finish with that same whatever trajectory was on. He didn't have to finish with that. You just can't go and finish out the last 5 to 7 games of the season where your quarterback has his worst 3 or 4 starts of the season and then gets to the point where you have to bench the man until the backup couldn't go and you had to leave him in. And I'm imagining he did get the interview, reportedly, in the last week. But when you go in there and Peters asks these questions, what can he say that I changed this, I did this, I added this, I made this happen, I recognized here what was going on and I changed that, I made some adjustments. Hey, the tape that you leave, the stats that you achieve, that's who you are. And it's a cold business. So sadly, Peters has no allegiances to that man. Josh Harris has no allegiances to that man. Sorry, bruh. It's the NFL. You had 17 games. 17 games. Same 17 everybody else had. The same 17 that Slowick had in Houston. Whatever I don't even know who to hack it in New York to get to 7 wins. And Zach Wilson. You got to figure it out. And that's what's expected of offensive coordinators, is that you figure it out to some degree, that you can go in there without having your hat in hand begging for a job. You can go in there and say, this is what I did. EB really can't do that right now. Hey, pay me no mind.